chief guest Dr. Sumalata, the convener of the program Dr. Prashant Naik, Saraj Chandra, Professor Chandra, and of course the partner in the whole program, Rotary Lata Kumari, and faculty members, research students, and student friends. I thought I still have some time to listen to all of them. Unfortunately, I missed the first part. I couldn't listen to them. But whatever I listened to, whatever I actually heard of, Dr. Krishna Shara, it was a very interesting kind of it. Let me admit, frankly, that I'm actually used to the entire area, especially the medical aspects of this place. But I think this today's program was a very useful and very enlightening kind of a program. As I gathered from the resource person, then it's very difficult to get what actually constitutes breast cancer. Because we have, I think, the examples of many people who does not have the breast cancer, even when the triggering risk factors are present. But as I think the medical world actually put it, it is a very complex process of the interaction between the genetic makeup and the environment. But what exactly the reason that actually triggers these things probably is also not known to the medical world. I'm sure that the medical world will actually come up with a proper research on these things and find some answers to these things. But as a social scientist, I am aware that this kind of a cancer, breast cancer or any other kind of maladies, causes lots of a traumatic situation at home. So it is actually a battle for the person who actually has this problem. But it's not merely their personal battle, it is also a battle of the entire family, because the entire family somewhere actually has an impact on this kind of a problem. And as the doctor said, unfortunately, I think the taboo relating to the breast cancer is still not gone completely, even in the educated side. We still actually think that somewhere that this is not a topic for open discussion. So there are lots of stigmas actually around this kind of problems. But it's a high time that we actually go over this kind of feeling and start discussing the things quite openly. Why this discussion? Because it's also indirectly somewhere morally supporting the candidate who has actually this kind of problem. It is also in a way of saying that we stand with you and we empathize with you. So somewhere the family and the larger community probably will need to actually morally and in other ways support the person who has this case. Make that person actually to discuss the problems openly, share their experiences with others, and share also some of the medical experiences of theirs with others, so that others also do not find this as actually a stigma, the kind of thing. And they also start sharing their experiences, their problems quite openly. So many of these issues, of course, medical issues are actually still a stigma in our society. And it's a time that we actually, go over these kind of problems and actually become very important. Medically, of course, the concerned person will always be getting some sort of treatment. But I think also from the family side, there's a lot of empathy and support that is required here. Doctor has actually said about the lifestyle changes. Now I'm sure that the doctors are the best person to tell us, what kind of lifestyles needs to be affected in order to overcome this kind of things. So I think the patient party and the family members probably need to hear to the opinion or suggestions of the doctors and try to actually help the patient in certain ways. We also need actually more of advocacy groups, who would actually promote this kind of an awareness. And from that point of view, I would actually compliment Dr. Prashant and his team for organizing this kind of program. So we need probably more of this kind of interactive session to talk about certain problems quite openly, to understand the problems and to say and to see what best we can do as teachers, as students, as responsible citizens of this country. Doctor has also said that the regular checkup or the early detection is very important here. What kind of, how do you detect these things early? I think he has also actually mentioned it here. So self-detection or mammography or other kind of medical things. That is so all these things are actually extremely important. But I also understand that sometimes the genetic makeups, your family with this with the history of this kind of malignancy, are likely to pass on these things to the next generation also. But it is not sure again, that the next generation would actually go with this kind of problems. But then I think there is some risk factor, and therefore I think the genetic counseling also becomes extremely important in preventing this kind of things. And more important, of course, we need actually more of research, more of advancement in the treatment of this kind of things. Not only treatment, but sharing the advances in the treatment with the generation. Because very often what happens is that the treatment, there might be certain treatment for certain diseases. Very often the patient party doesn't know what it is. And very often when you are not sure what actually happens in the hospital, people often hesitate to go to the hospital. So if the people know very clearly, like I think the last word that he used was very, very supporting and encouraging. That you said the breast cancer is curable. So that one word I think will have a lot of an impact on the patient party. If you actually tell the party in advance that this is not a great problem, you can still overcome this kind of a problem. That would actually have a lot of soothing effect on the patient. Now, if this kind of word is actually spread not only between patient and the doctor, but also in society, I think the people would actually take this problem much more seriously, and they actually immediately rush to the hospital the moment they suspect something wrong. So therefore, I think certain amount of awareness is actually very important here, and I understand that this problem is not an individual problem of the patient. It's a problem confronting the entire family. It is also the problem confronting the entire community, especially because of our lifestyle. If this problem is likely to go, so it is no more an individual kind of thing, because I think we are actually getting used to a particular kind of lifestyle, particular kind of food that we are using. And if this kind of things are actually somewhere responsible for the breast cancer kind of problems, then this is actually a community problem, not the individual problems. And therefore, I think in addressing these kind of issues, the entire community involvement is required. The healthcare professional support is of course definitely required, and then of course the researchers are, researchers becomes very important in this case, and also the policy makers again also becomes extremely important. So somewhere therefore, this is a larger community issue, not an individual issue. Individual, yes, they do suffer, but I think somewhere the community need to address this issue. So I think if I say that okay, this is all our problem, not their problem. So when you actually have this kind of an awareness, this kind of a sensitivity, I think much of these kind of problems could be addressed in a very effective manner. So again, complimenting Prashant Naik and his team, and also thanking the doctors for sharing their valuable time with us. I thank all of you for your patience. Thank you so much.